cool cats and kittens. Carol Baskins here. Sorry, Julia here. Sorry, that was stuck in my head. And I am introducing my friend Emma. So I originally met her at the Reptile shows, and she started working for Show Me as a coordinator, and we hit it off and have been gals since. So here she is. Hi, Emma.
Hey guys, how's it going?
What's good? How are you?
Oh, good. Happy to be here.
Good. Do you have any friends with you?
I do. I actually have quite a few. I'll grab my
Show them off.
guy. Yeah, this is my sweet baby Sandal. He's my red Argentine Tegu. He's kind of a little sassy, but figured I'd have him with me. Yeah, he's a little goober. He was actually a little rescue baby, and been working with him a bunch, so he's going to be hanging out with me today. I also have one of my African fat tails and one of my gargoyle geckos I might switch to Holden later on.
Yeah, they get Tegus. They'll definitely tell you when they're done being handled. They don't hide what they feel.
Yep.
That's awesome.
I'll have a lot of claw marks on my shoulder by the end of this, but
yes, and I'm in my reptile room today, so I'm gonna be wiping my face a little bit. Everybody that knows, but I keep a lot of my stuff at ambient temperature, so it's constantly like 80 in here.
Oh wow.
So
yeah.
Jules, I felt like it was really brave of you to have Emma on. Did you know that I did attempt to interview Emma at one point? Are you aware of this?
I am not.
I want to go ahead and...
Wait, was it in Lebanon?
It was.
I watched it happen. I watched it happen.
Look, there's no way you could have seen everything that happened, because like here's just a little bit of what it was like for me to interview Emma.
Kind of getting reptiles. We're up at the Show Me Reptile show. Don't laugh at me out of the gate.
I'm not laughing.
I was on a roll that time. Don't do that. You're like, he's gonna mess up. Oh, now it's in my head. I walked in knowing I was going to screw up. Here we go.
You ready?
I'm ready.
I'm not sure if I'm ready. Here we go, guys. So
all of like, oh my gosh, I can't talk.
It's just the excitement of animals. Bit of who Miss Emma is, and if you guys see her in the field, we will start over.
I've been doing shows since.
Awesome. And we got to start over.
That you handed me.
Yeah.
A lot of variety. Oh my gosh, I need to stop.
Time for a piece, guys.
That's all your fault, Steve. And I only know because I've been interviewed by you too. And the same thing happens to me where I'm like, what is going on?
I will say this though, it was a lot of fun in the process, but like legit, there was like 4 or 5 people that walked right in front of the camera that was placed. It was all but on top of the table.
I remember seeing it.
It was like every other minute there's somebody.
So I'm gonna slide in the back, and I will slide out at the end. There is some stuff I want to do, but I wish you ladies the best of luck, man. Like I said,
it's
fun, but I'm
All right, cool. So you have your friend Sandal here. What
Oh yeah.
inspired you to start keeping reptiles?
Well, I mean, as a lot of people are, I was a dinosaur kid. Always loved them. I had a
Yes,
red ear.
that's where we all started.
It
Like
really is. It's
buying
like the common
dinosaur
denominator.
tea with like my Christmas money. Like,
Yep. Now, I grew up with a red-eared slider, and then once I was old enough and had adult money, oh,
yep.
somebody wants to sit back down. With my adult money, I bought my first corn snake, and then
Yes.
became involved in going to like any reptile show that I could, like anywhere within a few-hour radius. I was taking my weekends from college and just driving and going and seeing everything, and then I started working here, and the collection just went
And now you
exploded.
get paid to go to all these shows, which is a lot better than because every time I step into a show, I lose money. It's better to make money at them for sure.
This is very true. I definitely thought I would start saving a little bit more money because I'd be, seeing animals and just get my
Ha ha
fill.
ha ha.
I was so
Right?
wrong. So
Yes. Oh my
incorrect.
gosh. Yeah, every time I have money saved, some animal will come up for like the exact amount I have saved, and I'm like,
Yep.
oh, it's okay. So yeah, that's cool. So did you start working for Show Me through going to Show Me shows?
Surprisingly, no. So I was home for the summer, my junior year of college, and I just stopped in our St. Peter's store and was like, I've kind of had this obsession with reptiles for a while now. I wonder if they're hiring. So I asked, they're like, we're not hiring here, but we're hiring in Troy. So I actually started about a summer ago in our Troy store, worked there for a few months, and then moved to our dry goods team.
Nice. And you at shows, I always catch you just laying out the information for people because sometimes vendors won't disclose everything or the customer isn't listening. So it's kind of hard.
Oh, yeah.
What advice do you give to new people that are going to enter this hobby?
Some advice that I would definitely like to give, two main things that I always tell people. One, do your own research and make sure it comes from like scientifically backed sources. So there is nobody more than me who loves to read a good scientific journal article, and that's just
Yes.
because I'm a total nerd. But I see a lot of people only getting their information from one spot and don't have any like really reliable sources for that, just kind of like hearsay stuff. So I'm always like, get as much information as you can, draw your own conclusions. And then the other thing that I always recommend to new keepers is, despite myself being an enabler when it comes to getting new animals, I'm like, take it slow. I feel like there's a lot of
Yes.
pressure for new keepers to immediately have like tons of quantity in their homes, just because like people who are used to it, we've got a lot at home, but
Yeah.
some people get really overwhelmed without like
Mhm.
doing the research for what they already have first. So I'm just like, make sure you have quality care before you get into quantity and quality.
Yeah, well, they see that, people like me. I have a lot of animals, but it took
Yeah.
years. It
Mhm.
took years. This definitely didn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
I mean, I started building my collection a couple years ago, and I was really bad at first about and then I got overwhelmed and
Yeah.
burnt out, and I had to scale back, and I learned from my mistakes, but I didn't have to learn from my mistakes. I could have learned from others' mistakes. So,
Yeah. It happens to the best of us. It's just one of those things I'm
yes.
like, take it slow at first. And if you can handle it,
Especially
then
if you're impulsive. I'm a very impulsive person. So
me
I
too.
know you shouldn't impulse buy things. Unfortunately, that could happen to the best of us.
Oh, yeah.
I strongly do not recommend impulse buying. However, I have before. So it's worked out good and it's worked out bad. I don't
Yeah.
recommend it. But yeah, so how has being involved in the reptile industry changed your perspective on things?
So being involved in the industry kind of opened my eyes a bit to what different types of keeping look like, how hobbyists, breeders, how everybody kind of keeps differently. Um, working with reptiles was never something I was expecting to do. I went to school to be a psychologist, was fully anticipating to start that right out of college, and then just kind of like fell in love with what I saw. But I don't know. There's a great community, and it's great to be surrounded by like-minded people who also are really, really passionate about animals. And I feel like I've like found my people here.
Right. Yeah, it definitely takes a certain, you can always tell who somebody is if they don't like animals. It's just flat out like, I'm sorry, we're not going to get along, and there's no way we will be able to. So yeah, what is your favorite reptile to keep? And do you breed any?
So, my favorite reptile, my absolute just bread and butter species is tokay geckos.
I have 2 pairs.
I love them so much.
Right there, and a pair right there.
They're so sweet. I mean, everybody always like gives me a side eye when I say they're my favorite, but I love the grumpier animals. I'm not currently pairing mine yet. I do have a patternless pair. I'm waiting until they get up to a bit more of a breeding size, and then hopefully when I'm no longer coming off of being a broke college student, I'll be able to get into some more morphs and upscale this a bit.
Congratulations, by the way. Emma just graduated college.
Oh, thank you.
Round of applause, everybody.
Appreciate it.
Yes, here's some pictures.
Oh, yeah, I was so excited.
I bet. I, never having to do another class. Do you plan on pursuing anything else, or?
Still kind of up in the air. I thought about going back for something more neuroscience related, but I'm also really drawn to the animal path. So I'm like, do I just scrap everything and go like something animal route?
Yes.
So something I'm kind of grappling with. I do intend on doing more schooling. However, not sure for what yet.
Right. Yeah. I was going to college for medical laboratory science.
Oh, that's awesome.
I met Chris, and I was like, yeah, I'm doing all of this to be able to afford animals. And I used to think like $60,000 a year was like banging money. Like I have a yacht in the backyard, everything. So I started talking to him, and he's like, like a 4-year degree for that amount is not a lot. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm gonna have a mansion on the ocean. Like, what? So now I make that amount of money a year doing reptiles, which is very nice. And I'm not selling like $50 animals. We have a lot of really high lines. We're still getting $1,000 for gargoyle geckos, $1,500 for them. So I'm really glad that I decided to go full throttle animal, or else I don't know what I'd be doing. Man, I took summer anatomy for nothing.
No.
I took the accelerated course. I got a B. I took it all for nothing. Anyway, don't talk about me. So how do you balance your passion for reptiles and all the stuff you do with school, the shop, and traveling?
Well, I was just insane. I was doing a double major for both psychology and criminal justice, and that kept me busy. I was also in a lab that was taking up a lot of my time, but I absolutely loved it. We did a lot of like brain imaging studies related to psychology. It was great. But I was just out here doing my homework in the truck and trailer on the way to shows, and
I know how that is.
I could. Yeah, trying to get work done and travel. I was missing a little bit more class than I should have, but I got through
and then
it.
You have a fiance at home too, and then you have a house and cats and animals of your own to take care of, as well as telling other people how to take care of theirs. It can be a lot. Burnout, definitely just make sure you don't get burnout with it all, because for me, when I worked at a reptile store, it was so hard to take care of animals all day, then come home and take care of animals all night. Take care of them all day, take care of them all night. I got to a point where it was like, all right, I need a break. Thankfully, Chris and I, we have all of our work like chopped up. Like he takes care of this side, I take care of that side. So we got a little system going down.
No, me and Blake definitely take turns. The burnout can be real sometimes, but I will say like, especially in my line of work with like talking to people about how they keep their animals and like
It can be
their setup.
exhausting.
It's really exhausting, but it also kind of like reignites my own passion because I'm like, I will hear like some of the ways that animals are treated, and I just want to go home and hug my babies.
Yes. It's very emotionally exhausting and taxing to try and explain to these people that the old way isn't how things are anymore.
Yeah.
You can't just keep a snake in a box with nothing anymore, like
Yeah.
people used to in the 80s. Now we have all these requirements and people are still stuck in their ways. So that can be very taxing.
It can definitely feel like you're just talking to a brick wall sometimes,
Yes.
but I do think it's important that we all like get out there and still try our best. I always try my best to not let it get me down, and I'll focus on like the little wins that I have where I can talk to people about husbandry and they make updates and they're like enthusiastic about
Right.
it. I like live for those moments, and it makes the not so great interactions a bit more bearable.
Yes, and even just helping one animal is very fulfilling. Like
Oh yeah.
knowing that at least one animal is better because of me, it
Yeah.
helps you sleep at night. It really does.
Really does. That's what I love most about working, especially at expos. When I was in the shop, you don't really see as many people like buying animals in as much quantity as you would at a show. So I always say I thrive when people come over to my table with deli cups because I know I have the opportunity to be like, okay, what do you have? What do you need?
Yep.
What were you told? Like, what's going on? How can I help? And that's my favorite thing to do.
Yeah, I always see you over there, and whenever people are like, "Hey, I have this random question," I'm like, "Go ask Emma. She'll know. She
I
will
love to
definitely
get.
know." So
That's
yeah,
my
tell me
favorite.
about. So was it 2 weekends ago that you went and did this fun thing? Tell me about it.
Yes, I went to the International Herpetological Symposium, which was absolutely phenomenal. I, of course, am a nerd and I thrive on research conferences. There were many amazing speakers talking about different like medical things, husbandry, a lot of educated people getting together, got to meet a lot of amazing people and
Right
run
up your
around in the
alley.
Everglades. Yes, it was
Right
phenomenal.
up your alley.
I have only ever been to like psychology conferences before, so it was nice to go to one that was for my like really special interest and kind of see what scientists in this field are doing.
Yeah, it's kind of like a blend of your two interests together.
Yes, no, for
So
sure.
yeah, that's awesome. Did you learn anything like super cool? Like what do they talk about?
There were quite a few presentations. One of the ones that really stuck out to me was one on like the husbandry of keeping water snakes. I've always wanted
Oh,
like an elephant
nice.
trunk snake, but I'm not the best with aquatics yet, so I'm like a little hesitant to try it, but kind of listening to other people talk about how they've kept theirs gave me more confidence and got to learn a lot about like different crocodilian species.
Oh, that's
And
fun.
yeah, there was just a lot of excellent information and a lot of good enclosure inspiration too. Everybody was putting pictures of their enclosures or natural
Oh,
habitat,
nice.
and it was phenomenal. I came home and I'm like, I need to tear all of my enclosures apart and redo them.
Yes.
I'm like,
I know. That's how I feel when I go to my friends' houses. Like, they'll do something in enclosure. I'm like, that is such a good idea. I'll come
yeah,
home, redo everything, and by the time I have it redone, somebody's thought of something cooler. So it's
yep.
like, gotta redo it again. So
That's
yeah,
part of the
that's the really
fun.
cool thing about keeping animals is it's ever evolving. We're learning so much more information all the time on how to keep them that it's a never ending learning journey.
Oh yeah. And that's
Just
I love that.
constantly.
It's
That's what I like
phenomenal.
about it too. It's constantly changing. I don't like when things get stagnant. I like
Yeah.
change.
No, I
So
feel like
yeah,
keeping updated and doing the best that we can is just what makes this hobby so amazing.
yeah.
That's my favorite part. One of the things I always tell people when they come to my table, and they always kind of look at me like I'm being condescending, but I feel like a lot of times people forget when people get an animal, I'm always like, hey, do me a favor, look up where this animal is found. Like,
Yeah.
look up where it lives. Like,
So then,
take inspiration.
yeah.
Like, that is what's going to make them happy. And we're getting more of that in writing, but I'm just like, get your inspiration from their natural habitat. And it's like, it's so simple, but a lot of people forget just because we get so caught up with like how other people keep them in captivity.
It can be hard to, it can be really tricky for new keepers, like all the different levels of UVB,
Oh, yeah.
different temp gradients, like that can be really confusing to new
Yeah.
keepers. Do you have any resources or anything online that you like to look up specifically?
Most of the time I will just go and like search the species in a like academic journal
Right.
kind of search engine like Google Scholar, something along those lines. I used to have other resources when I was a student. There are like a few online sources I like to use. I do eventually want to create my own care guides to have with me at shows.
That'd be
That is,
awesome.
yeah, that's something I'm working towards because I want to be able to have something that will, you know, people can take home with them and just have some tangible information.
I do that for my micro squirrels because when you look them up, there's not a lot of information online.
Yep.
So I have my own care sheet that I've completely curated with pictures of my enclosures and my animals.
Yep.
I think that's really awesome when people show that initiative and
Yeah.
make sure that information gets out there one way or another.
Yes, because I'm like, I can tell everybody until I'm blue in the face, but I'm like, find your sources. The way I like consider a source credible is if they also have like a variety of academic sources linked below. So that's how I always like check out care guides. And I'm like, all right, where are they getting their information from? Like comparing everybody's information. It's always, I just love to look through everything. I'm just always wanting to read more.
That's
so
awesome.
that's just like a personal little hobby of mine.
That's great. And I mean you have to in this hobby. Everything's evolving. So
Oh yeah.
That's perfect. That's perfect. So yeah, I'm so glad that you came on here.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Of course. I'm glad to be here. This has been awesome.
Yes, thank you very much. Hello, Steve. And I will talk to you soon.
Yeah, see ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, now we can't hear Steve.
Oh.
I'm like that. I muted it. Thank you so much for coming on, Emma. It was great having you on. Jules, you definitely did better than I did in the interview, but me and Emma had a lot more fun. That's all right. It's not a competition.
Yes, it is.
But a couple things that we've got coming up in the Show Me world I wanted to go over. We do have the Junior Show Me Explorers class. That's Tuesday night. You can see the dates down on the bottom. The next one is July 8th. This is at the Springfield Show Me Reptile shop. Might come out and check it out, guys. Pretty cool stuff for the kiddos. I actually want to do it myself, so I hate that they make me say kids because I'm on my way. I'm going to those classes, Emma. I can leave with something. With something. What they've got going on right now, though, for all three of the Show Me Reptile shops, right now it's Crested Gecko Week. That is going on through July 13th. So 25% off your Crested Geckos that entire time frame. And then that is being followed up here. Or wait, no, I got that reversed. We're in Colubrid Week right now. And that goes until the 5th. So we're getting close to wrapping that up. But 25% off of the Colubrids. And then this follows it, the Crested. So see what happens when we go live, man. Mistakes be being made.
Happens to the best.
Unacceptable.
We do have a couple other shows coming on. We've got Generally Speaking, this is episode 1 where your boy is going to be doing vendor review spotlights, and we'll be talking about some of the upcoming shows that you're going to find these people at.
Where's my spotlight?
You see what you done did there. We're doing it. All right, hit me up. You're my next spotlight. I'm done.
All right.
I'm done talking about this. We're going to be about this. We also have the Cam Girl podcast coming up at 8 o'clock this evening. So hopefully you girls get a chance to slide down in the chats or whatever, show some love. And that's all I've got.
Awesome. Well, thank you everybody for coming along for this journey, and I'll see everybody next Wednesday at 6 o'clock.
Peace.